Lesson 13, E-Invoice Management. In this chapter, we will discuss about e-invoicing and how you can generate e-invoice from Busy. E-invoicing or electronic invoicing is a system in which all invoices like B2B, credit debit notes, SEZ, export, except B2C invoices are electronically uploaded and authenticated by the designated portal. After successful authentication, a unique invoice reference number, that is IRN, is generated for each invoice by Invoice Registration Portal IRP. Along with IRN, each invoice is digitally signed and added with QR code. This process is collectively called as e-invoicing under GST. To generate e-invoice from Busy, our first step would be to enable e-invoicing and configure it. To enable and configure e-invoice feature, first of all, we'll go to Administration, Configuration, Features Options, GST VAT tab. Here, we need to specify yes in the e-invoice required field. Yes, we want to generate e-invoice in this company, so we are specifying yes in this data field. Then a configuration button will appear. We'll click this button, and here we need to specify the from place. That is the place from where you usually dispatch your goods. It could be your material center, go down. So the place from where the goods are dispatched from your company, you need to specify that place here, and then you need to specify the PIN code of that particular place. Then is restrict sub-users to change e-invoice applicability in vouchers. If you want to restrict your sub-users so that they cannot change the applicability of e-invoice in the data entry, that is e-invoice is to be generated or not, this right is not to be given to the sub-users, then you need to specify yes in this data field. Then is E-Invoice GSP user ID and E-Invoice GSP password. Specify GSP user ID and GSP password. This GSP user ID and GSP password is different from the user ID and password you use to log into the E-Invoice portal. Please note that E-Invoice GSP user ID and E-Invoice GSP password is different from the user ID and password used to log into the E-Invoice portal. Here, an important thing to note is that it is recommended that you specify same GSP credentials as specified in e-way bill for e-invoicing also. Currently, e-invoice credential as specified on portal are not working properly, so it is recommended that you specify the same credentials as you have specified for e-way bill. Now click Save button to save the configuration. This is our general configuration. Next we will discuss configuration about various masters. We need to configure various masters before generating the e-invoice, so we'll discuss that. Here we are assuming that all your masters are created, so we will open all the masters in modify mode. First of all, here we are going to material center master and opening a material center master in modify mode. Here you have to make sure that you have specified the address of the material center, from place, from state and PIN code. It is mandatory to specify these details. An error could raise while generating the e-invoice. Next we are opening our party account, that is account master in modify mode. We are selecting the party, and here also you have to make sure that you have entered the address, station, PIN code of the party. So make sure that data is provided in all these data fields. It is also a mandatory step. Next is unit master. Here we are opening a unit master in modify mode. Here you have to make sure that you have specified a unit quantity code for e-invoice. You can see last field UQC for e-invoice. You must specify data in this data field for the units which you use for your items. It is also a mandatory step. If you have not specified any UQC for e-invoice, then there are chances that an error could appear while generating the e-invoice. Next we'll go to miscellaneous masters and then country master and modify mode. Here you have to make sure that you have specified the country code of the country where your parties exist. Basically this step is useful if you are dealing in export import transactions. Similarly, if you are dealing in export import transactions, then you have to make sure that you have specified the currency code for e-invoice also. For this we are opening currency master dollar in modify mode, and here we are checking that we have specified the currency code for e-invoice for this particular currency. So these are all the masters that need to be configured. Now we are going to our next step, that is configuring voucher series configuration. For the voucher series in which you want to generate the e-invoice, you need to do a little bit of configuration. For this we are going to administration, configuration, voucher series configuration. Select the voucher type and the series as per your requirement and click the voucher configuration button. At the top, you can see in the input transport details, the yes is already specified. You have to make sure that yes is specified in this data field, and then next you have to specify yes in the generate e-invoice after saving data field. You have to specify yes in the generate e-invoice after saving. Basically, you have to specify yes in this data field so that Busy shall ask you at the time of saving the voucher that you want to generate e-invoice or not. So for those series in which you do not want to generate the e-invoice, you can specify no in this data field. And for the series for which you want to generate the e-invoice, you need to specify yes in this data field. Now our next step is to configure invoice document printing. For this, we are going to administration configuration invoice document printing option. We are selecting the standard option and then the sales invoice. Here we are specifying yes in the print e-invoice QR code field. Yes, we want to print the e-invoice QR code in the sales invoice in the standard format. Next, here an option is provided, print e-invoice IRN acknowledgement number acknowledgement date. Specify yes in this data field if you want to print e-invoice IRN number, acknowledgement number and acknowledgement date while printing the sales invoice in the standard format. So basically on specifying yes in these two fields, whenever you will print the sales invoice in standard format for which e-invoice has been generated, then e-invoice QR code and e-invoice IRN acknowledgement number and acknowledgement date will be printed in that particular invoice. Click save button to save the configuration. So till now we are done with our configuration part, that is we have done all our configuration. Now we'll come to our main part, that is entering transactions and generating e-invoice for that particular transaction. For this, we are going to sales add option. Here we are specifying the header related details of the voucher, selecting the party. On selecting the party, a billing shipping details window is appearing, in which if you want you can specify any other details other than as specified in the account master of the party. You can specify any other GSTN also. Basically this is required if there are multiple branches of the party and you need to specify the address and GSTN number of a particular branch and not of the head office. Then select item, specify item related details, select the required bill sundry and click save button. On clicking the save button, a transport details window is appearing, in which first of all you will select the transporter details. Here you can also add new transporter details by clicking the add new button. At the right hand side, a label double click to update GSTN ID is also provided. You can double click this label to update transporter ID, GSTN and all other details. Then specify GRRR number, GRRR date, vehicle number, station to place. This place is automatically picked from the account master of the party you have selected in the voucher. If you remember, we have specified the station as the Ashok Vihar in the Busy Infotech account. Then PIN code, it is also being picked automatically. Then is e-invoice required? Yes, we require an e-invoice. E-way bill required? Yes, if you want to generate e-way bill also, then you can specify yes in this data field. And then is generate e-way bill within e-invoice. That is, you want to generate e-way bill within the e-invoice. Within e-invoice, e-way bill will be generated. Then you can specify yes in this data field. Then you need to click the check distance button to calculate the distance between the from place as you have specified in the features options and the to place specified here. Then select the mode of transport, select the sub type, select the transaction type. Here if you select the select automatically option, then Busy will automatically pick that what type of transaction it is. Otherwise you can select the regular, bill to dispatch to, bill from dispatch from, or combination of 2 and 3 options. For more details on these options, you can refer to our chapter 12 for e-way bill, in which these options are explained in detail. Then here you can see e-way bill number and e-invoice number fields are blank because we have not yet generated the e-invoice. Click OK button. Now Busy is asking, do you want to save the voucher? Yes, we want to save the voucher. And do you want to generate e-invoice? E-way bill will be generated within e-invoice as we have specified yes in this option. So click yes button. Next it's asking e-invoice is to be generated in automatic, JSON, plain Excel format. Here we are selecting the automatic format. You can select any other option as per your requirement. Again, for details on these options, you can refer to our chapter 12 for e-way bill, in which all these options are explained in detail. We are clicking the automatic option. On clicking the automatic option, a window is appearing with various report options. Specify data in these report options. Here first option is pick from address details from material center. Specify yes in this data field to print address as mentioned in the material center master, that is address of the material center. Otherwise, if you specify no in this data field, then address will be printed as mentioned at the time of company creation. Next is club item details on HSN and unit. Specify yes in this data field to club items on the basis of HSN code and unit. If you specify no in this data field, then items will be clubbed only on the basis of item name. Treat taxable amount and tax amount as invoice value. Specify yes in this data field to treat taxable amount plus the tax amount as invoice amount. That is, the tax amount and the amount on which tax is charged will be treated as invoice amount and no other bill sundry will be included in it. Special characters to be removed. Specify special characters, or we can say any junk characters which may cause error while generating e-invoice. Then you can specify those characters here and Busy will remove those characters from the data. Next, click the OK button and Busy is showing a message that check possible errors or view and generate e-invoice. It is always recommended to check possibility of any error before generating the e-invoice. So here we are clicking the check possible errors button. Now on the screen you can see a report is appearing which is showing a particular entry, and in the invalid data found column it is showing HSN code cannot be blank. Basically it's showing a transaction in which the item which is used for that particular item HSN code has not been specified. So if you want, you can rectify this problem from here also. Double click this entry and Busy is showing various options. We are selecting the transaction details option. So Busy will redirect the screen to this particular transaction. You can see Busy has opened this voucher. Now we'll modify this item. We are pressing the Alt-M shortcut key here and Busy has opened this item master. Here you can see HSN code is not specified. So here we are specifying the HSN code of this particular item. Coming back to the report, here again we are pressing the check possible errors button, and now you can see this report is totally blank, which means our data is perfectly fine. There is no error in the data. So it's very easy. You can correct your data from here also, and it is necessary that you first rectify your data before generating the e-invoice. Now we'll click the view and generate e-invoice button. On the screen you can see Busy is showing a screen in which all the details are appearing. This is only for reference purpose, that is you should make sure that all the details are correct and then click the generate e-invoice button. Now Busy is showing e-invoice and e-way bill generated successfully, and it is showing e-invoice acknowledgement number and e-way bill number. So we have generated our e-invoice and e-way bill. Next it's asking, do you want to print e-invoice? Yes, we want to print e-invoice, and on the screen you can see the form. And on the screen you can see the format of the invoice. Here at the top, IRN, acknowledgement number, acknowledgement date are being shown. Next you can see e-way bill details are also shown, e-way bill number, e-way bill date, valid till date, as we have specified yes in the generate e-way bill within e-invoice option. Next Busy is asking, do you want to print e-way bill? As we have said, e-way bill is also generated. Yes, we want to print the e-way bill, and on the screen you can see the format of the e-way bill. It's showing e-way bill number and all other details. Next Busy is asking, do you want to print sales invoice in standard format? Yes, and on the screen you can see the preview of the sales invoice in standard format. It's showing the e-way bill number at the top, then IRN, acknowledgement number, acknowledgement date, and at the bottom you can see the e-invoice QR code. If you remember, in the invoice document printing configuration we have specified yes for both the options, that is print e-invoice QR code and print IRN, acknowledgement number, acknowledgement date of the e-invoice. So because of those options, e-invoice, IRN, acknowledgement number, date, e-invoice QR code is appearing in this particular invoice format. So till now we have discussed that how you can generate e-invoice for a transaction within your country. Now we will discuss that how you can generate e-invoice for an export transaction. For this we are going to sales add option, specifying header related details of the voucher, selecting party, A currency details window is appearing in which you will select the required currency in which you are dealing. We are selecting dollar here. Next, billing shipping details window is appearing. Here you can see that its address, it's showing the address of Singapore, which is our foreign company. If we open the party master in the modify mode, here also you can see the country is Singapore, and in the station field also Singapore is appearing. Next, coming back to the voucher, we are selecting the item, specifying item related details. On saving the voucher, export shipping bill details window is appearing in which we'll specify shipping bill number, shipping bill date and port code. Port code is basically the code of the port from where the goods will be dispatched. Here at the bottom, an update port address button is also provided, using which you can edit the details of the port code already entered. You can see on the screen port code, its address are shown. You can make required changes in it, or if you want you can add any new port code also. Next, transport details window is appearing in which we are specifying the transport related details. Then in the station field to place, you can see it's showing Bangalore and not Singapore, but our party belongs to Singapore. This is because in the to place you need to specify the address of the port from where you will dispatch the goods. As we are dispatching the goods from Bangalore, so here the two places Bangalore and pin code is of the Bangalore only. Then E-Invoice required, yes. E-Way bill required, yes. Generate E-Way bill within E-Invoice, yes. Next we are clicking the check distance button. Here it's showing from place and to place as Bangalore, because from Bangalore port the goods are dispatched, so to place is considered as Bangalore only. Then E-Invoice number, E-Way bill number fields are blank. We are clicking the OK button, and which is asking automatic, JSON, plain Excel. We are clicking the automatic option, specifying data in various report options. These report options are totally similar what we have discussed in our previous voucher. And then we are clicking the check possible errors button. This report is blank, which means data is perfectly fine and you can generate the e-invoice for this particular transaction. Next, we are clicking the view and generate e-invoice button. This is showing a screen with complete details. Please check these details. Here you can see in the buyer details all the details are appearing. Seller details you can check. Ship to details you can check. Here in the ship to details you can see the location is appearing as Bengaluru. After checking the details, click the generate e-invoice button to generate e-invoice for this particular transaction. This is showing e-invoice and e-way bill generated successfully. So this is the process of generating e-invoice or e-way bill number for export transactions. Here next, if you want, you can print the e-invoice also. Here you can see seller details, purchaser details, shipping details. All these details are appearing in your e-invoice. Next, it's asking for printing e-way bill. We are not printing e-way bill as we have shown the format of e-way bill for the previous voucher also. Here one thing to note is that e-way bill number or e-invoice acknowledgement number which is generated will be automatically filled in the e-invoice number and e-way bill number, that fields that appear in the transport details window of the voucher. You need not modify these details or update these details in the voucher. Next is generating e-invoice for multiple vouchers in one go. Till now we have generated e-invoice for a single voucher. Now we will generate e-invoice for multiple vouchers using a single button or in a single go. Although separate e-invoice number will be generated for each invoice, but you can generate for multiple vouchers in one go. So we are going to transaction, GST miscellaneous utility, e-way bill, e-invoice management, generate print, e-invoice, e-way bill. Then selecting the automatic option, specifying the date range for which vouchers are to be loaded. Here an option exclude vouchers already having e-invoice acknowledgement number is appearing. If you enable this option, then only those vouchers will be shown on screen for which e-invoice has not yet been generated. So we are enabling this option. Then you can see 3 sales invoices are appearing on screen. If you want, you can update transport details from here also by clicking the update transport details button provided at the bottom. You can see here also e-invoice number, e-way bill number are blank because we have not yet generated the e-invoice or e-way bill number for these fields. Next we are clicking the check e-invoice details button to check the details. Here you can see in the first entry it's showing an error, that is bill to party location cannot be blank. You can rectify this error from here also. We are double clicking this entry. This is showing a list of options and we are clicking the update party details option as we need to update the party details. On clicking the update party details option, Busy is opening the account master, that is the party master, which is used in the voucher. Here you can see station field and pin code field are blank. At the starting of this chapter, we have mentioned that you must specify the station pin code address of all the parties with whom you deal. So here we are updating this master, we are specifying the station pin code and then clicking the save button. Now our data is perfectly fine. We have rectified our data. Now we will click the generate e-invoice button. On clicking the generate e-invoice button, various report options are appearing. Provide data in it. Click check possible errors button to again make sure that there is no error in the data. Now we are clicking the proceed with automatic e-invoice generation option. On the screen you can see this is showing total number of invoices 3, total e-invoice generated 3, total e-way bill generated 3 and list of rejected invoice nil. That is no invoices rejected as our data was perfectly fine. So e-invoice and e-way bill number is generated for all these 3 transactions. On the screen also you can see e-invoice acknowledgement number, acknowledgement date, e-way bill number, e-way bill date. Data is filled in all these fields. Now we are clicking the print e-invoice button and this is asking, do you want to print e-invoice for this particular transaction? Yes. And on the screen you can see the format of the e-invoice. Similarly, you can print e-invoice for other vouchers also. We are printing for the second voucher also and you can see the format of the e-invoice on the screen. In the same way, you can print e-way bill also by clicking the print e-way bill button provided at the bottom of the screen. So this is all we have to discuss in this chapter. At the end of the chapter, we have provided certain exercise. You can view the exercise on screen and attempt it. Hope after going through this chapter, you would be able to easily generate e-invoice from Busy. Thanks for watching. For more videos, subscribe to our YouTube channel.